Correct.
Takes a lot of pressure off when you don't see a timer.
Right in. All right, next up we have Ms. Headley with Focus Fit.
Hi, everybody. So this story starts with a business model that hasn't changed in 60 or 70 years. In executive recruiting or recruiting for leadership, you end up paying an outside recruiter 25 to 30% of the person you're hiring's annual salary. We incubated Focus Fit inside of an executive recruiting firm that regularly pockets $150,000 fees just for helping hire one person. The business model hasn't changed in a long time, and everybody finds it uncomfortable. So the outcomes are bad too. The 40% of those people get pushed out in the first year, and the cost of the fee is lost, and plus all the cost of a bad leadership hire. And we want to change that. We want to change that with Focus Fit, and what we've built is an AI executive recruiting platform that has the expert recruiters process built in to help you get to clarity and alignment before the job search even starts, which is where most of them fail to begin with. Helps prepare you for the interview process and helps you surface signals using the behavioral science that we've imbued into the platform to help you notice things like how people deal with conflict and whether or not they communicate according to their values and that sort of thing. And it works while you're away, so it's always on AI agents that run most of the grunt work of the search. When I first got involved in the service side of executive recruiting, I was impressed with how much of the work is very high-order, human-centric work that involves being a trusted advisor and a therapist to the CEO and all that stuff. And about 60% of the work is incredibly tedious grunt work about sourcing and scheduling and screening and that sort of stuff. And we're trying to automate those parts, keep the human in the loop, and let the AI do the grunt work. And here's how we want to change the business model. We want to be the TurboTax of recruiting. Is that it? Okay. Where most people can self-serve, but if you need a ride-along for one particular role, you can get that in a combined service model.
All right, let's open up for some questions. John, right here.
What is your business model? What is your pricing model? How does that factor into by comparison to what you said, 150,000, 1,500?
So it's a software as a service subscription model for a reasonable fee of a couple $100 a month, plus AI usage cost. If you're using it heavily and hiring a lot, you'll pay $100 more this month or $200 more this month for your heavy AI usage. And then the hybrid model with the services is where we'll have partner organizations that are recruiters. Their fee will be between 10 to 18% of the fee, or even just a flat fee, depending on what level of support you need. So you'll end up saving tens of thousands of dollars on every search. And then one of the problems with the recruiting model is that as soon as the search is over, it's a very transactional thing, and the expertise leaves with the recruiter. With a Focus Fit Live, where a recruiter plays as a ride-along and works within your agentic system, the work that they do stays in your system and continues to make it better after they leave. So you end up owning the way you hire, getting progressively better at that, and end up spending less money on recruiters over time.
What's your current ideal market segment that you're currently trying to target, and how are you planning on targeting that market?
So ideal market segment is startup and growth stage companies and small businesses that would never have paid a $150,000 recruiter fee in the first place, or a $30,000 recruiter fee in the first place. The people that need the services of an expert recruiter to hire their most consequential leadership hires, but would never have afforded it. The same people that use TurboTax to do their taxes, that kind of level of, I don't want to hire an outside expert to come and do it, but I want to do it well. This is the kind of, so the people that wouldn't have ever gotten to the point of hiring the really expensive recruiters.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've talked about is how this would work into the recruiter industry as far as how they would feel about it. But one of the things that you said to me is that how this kind of expands the market, where it's not necessarily competing against them, it's perhaps expanding the market to a lot of people who can't afford that services and want to do it themselves.
I definitely see both sides of that. I see the value of expert recruiter, I definitely do, but I know the recruiting industry is going to get disrupted by AI, and I'd rather we do it than get rolled over by it. And yeah, I definitely think it opens up the market for all those people that would never have paid those high fees to get access to the kinds of expertise an expert recruiter would bring in.
What cycle of the recruiting process does your software handle? Is it all the way from the phone screens to review the resumes?
So it starts off as an expert guide to help you get the recruiting process started off well, and then has agents that run on a regular basis throughout the day and every night to pick up all the automated processes of the search. So you work with the agents to develop a sourcing strategy. The agents source while you're asleep, grade candidates. You get up the next day and check accept, reject, whatever. Look at the analysis that they've done overnight. So the decisions are made by humans. The conversations are had by humans. The only thing we ever have an AI actually do to contact someone is to contact them to see if they're open to setting up a screening call. And so we're not trying to take the people out of the process. We're actually trying to supercharge and give the people superpowers that are in the process and get rid of the grunt work that doesn't need a human to do it.
Yeah, so what platforms are you using to focus on the sourcing side, and then how do you differentiate yourself from some of the kind of large-scale venture-backed versions of this, like Paragon?
Yep. So lots of different things on the back end. We use lots of different databases for the data that we pull for sourcing, from Core Signal, People Data Labs, Perch, Signal Hire, something like that. So whole lots of external data providers. We also use the AI itself to scrape the web, which works really well for senior leadership hires that appear on company about pages and in press releases and that sort of thing. Or for people that publish their work online, like graphic designers who always have a portfolio online. So we have lots of different ways to do sourcing, and we allow people to bring in theirs and plug theirs in. So if you have a subscription to ZoomInfo, you can plug your ZoomInfo subscription in, and the AI agents will use ZoomInfo to do the searching. So all that stuff, we're not trying to be just the sourcing tool. We're trying to be the agentic AI automation layer that is an expert at recruiting and can access all different kinds of sourcing. And so the differentiation between those other venture-backed players, most of those started as big SaaS applications that have been steadily bolting on AI features as fast as possible. What we've built is an agentic runtime like Claude Cowork or Hermes or OpenClaw that sits on top of a layer of skills and tools that has a database in the back end. So it's not the traditional SaaS architecture with an extra purple button for AI. It's a whole different approach to building an application that you can then also hook up your Hermes agents, your OpenClaw agents, your Claude Cowork agents to have them do work and pump it into FocusFit. So it's designed from the beginning to be part of an agentic ecosystem that everybody's going to build inside their own company.
Nice. All right. So